I didn't know I was gonna be talking at all.
What?
For me to like loosen up?
Yeah,
I have to like
know.
say something stupid.
I know,
once.
it's fine.
Yeah,
Just loosen up.
Okay.
Thank you, Andrew, for being in this video and getting financially naked. Wow! Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we've got a special guest with us, Andrew, my husband. He is joining us today because we are gonna sit down and share with you how we organize and discuss money as a couple. At the end of every month, we sit down and have a finance recap chat, and we do it at this kitchen table here. It's usually on the last Sunday of each month, and we have a whole list of questions that we go through to discuss. We go through our worries and solutions for that. We have different action items and takeaways. We consider it like financial flossing because it's just something that we do routinely to make sure we're on the same page and that our spending is aligning with our values and our goals. So we thought it'd be fun to share that with you, take you through that. We haven't even chatted about our September finance yet, so we're gonna go through that in real time with you all, and I'm gonna share my screen and you can kind of see the process. So I'm gonna link the Notion template down below, which has everything that we go through. And if you want to do your own monthly recap chat, either with yourself or with your partner, then you can join us in that. Shall we dive in?
Let's do it.
All right. The first thing we want to talk about is why we do these finance meetings. It's really because we want to be on the same page and make sure that we are actually making strides towards whatever goals that we set. We're married. We've been together for 8 years.
Is that married or dating?
Well, we've been dating, whatever. We've been together for 8 years. We've been married for 2 years or something. We're very comfortable with each other, and I really love that about our relationship, that we can literally talk about anything. But everyone has their own relationship with money. For me, growing up, we didn't really talk so much about money, and these were all things that I learned on my own as I grew up, started a business. Some of you all submitted questions, so we're gonna be answering those questions throughout this video. And one of the questions you asked is whether we share our finances and how does that work. We do have a joint account, and I have my business account, which is separate. So my business, I take a salary from my business, which Andrew likes to do visuals.
I love talking with my hands.
Okay, so we have my business account, and then we have our personal account. My business, I take a salary from, and it goes into our joint business. What are you doing?
Okay,
dirty.
that's not dirty, but she has a business account, and then we have our account, and
joint
she
account.
takes...
My salary goes to our joint account, and then Andrew's salary from his 9 to 5 goes into our joint account. So this is that account.
This is the funnel.
This is the account. So, okay. We first started doing our finance chats when we were thinking of moving from New York to Austin, because a lot of our expenses were shared. Everything we did was together. So just kind of, it was too hard to keep track of, oh, I'm paying, now you're paying. And we knew that we were wanting to be together long term. So that's, it kind of naturally flowed. But then when we moved to Austin and then got engaged, we're like, okay, we're joining accounts. It just makes sense. We're literally gonna buy a house together. So that's actually when our monthly meetings started more routinely.
Well, there's also the idea of like buying a house. There's a goal which you need to reach, like having a certain, percentage to put down. So it was really about like, okay, in 8 months or in a year, if we're trying to do that, what do we need to save? And like, it's very calculated, it's very measured. And like a budget goes a big part of that as well. But
yeah, we have our goal, and then we work backwards from there. We do a little like reverse engineering. And I'd say through these conversations, we've learned so much about each other. We've learned so much about our relationship with money, and I think it's really helped us achieve the goals that we've had. Like when I look back at all the goals that we set, I really am proud because we keep meeting those goals together, and it's really great. So that's our why in doing this. We want to create a safe container to talk about these things and make sure that we are together working towards the goals and the type of lifestyle that we want to live. And by talking about it, that's just how you make it happen. And also by documenting it, that's how you can measure your progress to make sure you're actually doing the things you need to do to get to where you want to go. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen and show you our template. And this is something I'm gonna share with you all below, so be sure to check that one out. This is our September finance recap, and we are doing this in real time with you. So this actually lives in the acre finance meeting stock, and you can see these are past recaps that we've done. This is a somewhat new template that is in Notion. Notion obviously has changed my life in so many ways. Andrew's life too, he uses it. And so we're starting to slowly move over our Excel Google Sheet stuff into Notion, and we love it. So let's just pop into September finance. All right. Do you want to read the quote that we say before each meeting?
Regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did the best job they could, given what they knew at the time, their skills and abilities, the resources available, and the situation at hand.
We like to start each meeting with gratitude, so we each have to have at least one finance gratitude. What are we grateful for? What's going well? What's a win?
My gratitude is your birthday the other day.
Is that a finance gratitude?
Well, we treated all of our friends to pizza, you know? There was like 16 people, and we ordered a bunch of pizzas. We were all chilling outside, and you know, everyone was full. We also brought a cake, like, you know.
Yeah, that's a good gratitude.
And a little side, looking back at the budget we set for food, we're only like a couple dollars over.
And I feel like we ate out a lot, so I'm actually surprised to hear that we are only a little bit over our food budget. Okay, so my gratitude, I don't know if it's finance, but it's like forgot to tell you. If you're just joining us and you're not aware of this, we are currently building a house, which is our second house. We're gonna keep this house as a rental, and we're gonna move into our hill country house in the summer of next year. So my gratitude is that we took measurements and figured out that we can do a Murphy bed in the guest room and put the gym stuff in there. Okay, so those are our gratitudes. After we do our gratitudes, we move down into our worries, but instead of just writing a worry, we also either write a solution that we're aware of, or we'll talk through it and figure out what that solution is, because we don't want to just be worrying without a solution to the pain point. One of the worries we had in our last month's meeting was that we were gonna end up spending a lot more eating out, because we have two of our best friends that just moved to Austin, and we all love eating together and we love trying all these new things, and now that they're here, we're like, oh, we gotta go there. Yeah. Oh, let's drink coffee there. Right. That was a worry of ours, and so our solution was to just stay strong
like
and know our boundaries.
And like maybe like a double date night or something.
Yeah, and also like I don't feel good when I eat it all the time. My stomach doesn't feel great. Yeah. So,
but reviewing the budget, we've spent less this past month than in some of the previous months.
I used the app Truebill to track all of our spending.
Our budgets, our spending also focuses on like reoccurring things that
subscriptions.
Can get you.
Don't we pay for premium?
Yeah, it is free, but I've tried almost a dozen apps for like budgeting or like tracking expenses, and this is the best by far. And so I was just wanting to pay like the $1 or $2 a month or whatever, because it unlocks some other features, and I definitely use those.
So would you say that most people can use it for free if they wanted to?
Yeah, great place to start on free. And me being an app designer, I really appreciate their app. It's really nicely made.
One of our worries of last month is actually turning out to be not a worry anymore, because we are on track with our budget. So I think we did a good job with that, and I think that's due to our meetings and having those discussions ahead of time. Andrew has a worry.
Going into saving for the house for the down payment, we kind of cut in half some of our auto investing to amplify how much we can save.
Amplify our liquid cash versus putting it into the stock market, right?
Yeah, right now our checking account is just kind of inflated a little bit because that money is sitting there and we're not transitioning it to like a high yield savings account. This
video is not meant to be financial advice, but I do want to give a little context to kind of how we approach it. We like to keep our joint checking account fairly low, enough to, cover our credit card every month, enough to cover our recurring expenses, mortgage, yeah, all those fixed expenses. But we don't like to have excess in there. We like to put it either in our high yield savings account, which we have in Ally, and Ally is now our house down payment bank account for now until we buy the house next year. And our checking account, anything excess, we put it into the stock market. Yeah. So that way our money is growing and not just sitting in our account. We have excess in our, wow, I cannot type, in our checking account. The solution is we need to up our auto save for Ally House Fund, or update our auto invest. My question to you is, would you rather put extra money into our down payment account so that we can really make sure we can pay the down payment and have our furniture money, or would you feel more comfortable getting back into more regular investing, since I know we kind of paused that to save for the house?
For the immediate, I think it's best to put more money into our savings so we get to a place where we're maybe even like ahead of schedule, and then from there we can determine if we want to do stocks.
So increase auto save for Ally account to reduce excess checking balance. Who's gonna do that? You? Okay, so we assign who's gonna do it. That way it's clear who'll be doing it. Okay, at this current point in time, I don't really have a worry, so I'm just gonna skip me. Now we're moving down to our discussion topics. We might fill this out on our own in advance, and then when we come to the meeting, there will already be things there that we want to talk about. Some things I want to discuss with Andrew are, where are we with canceling things for Truebelly, canceling those for past client. Those are the two things that I want to discuss. Is there anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay, cool. For a little context, Truebelly was our food app that we are deciding to dissolve and shut down. It's bittersweet, but it's all for the best. So now we have to go through the motion of canceling programs that we had running. Typically, we will take our action items from the last meeting and then paste them into our current meeting. I'll go like this. Okay, so now we have our last meeting stuff here, and then we can just kind of make sure that we're on track, and anything that we didn't get done in our last meeting, we will drag down to our action items for the next time. So for me, we need to hire someone to stain the fence in the deck area. And then Andrew, you still need to email your past clients about the web hosting. So we're gonna put that there. And anything that's like an action item that is pretty important, it's a priority, we have these little emojis up here where you can put it next to it so that we know, let's focus on that next. When we finish the discussion topics and we jot down our action items, we will then typically go through our finance flossing questions, which is just like a thought starter to see where we're at, and it might bring up some other discussions and action items.
Is our current spending and savings serving the lifestyle we want to live? I mean, that was easy.
I would say
we
yes.
talked about this one a lot throughout the meeting now, it's been good.
We have been really good about setting the goals and checking in with each other. Andrew will check in on our spending on Truebell throughout the week, and he'll be like, hey babe, what's small hold? What's this purchase? And I'm like, oh, it's a mushroom company that I went to the farmer's market and got a lot of mushrooms. And I appreciate that. We did have a question from one of my followers that asked, how do you avoid micromanaging expenses and just kind of, when you're sharing an account, how does that work? So we don't micromanage each other's spending. We trust the other person and their spending habits. I'm not really a big clothes shopper, and Andrew's not a shopper at all. Like, we just both do things. When we spend money, it's usually together, and it's usually food. We love eating out together with friends. We love it. Austin has great food. He doesn't care if I buy a pair of jeans, and I don't care if he buys like a PlayStation game or whatever. We just make sure that we're spending intentionally, which we do. So people asked, how do we come up with a budget? This isn't meant to be financial advice, but what we do is we work backwards. So we take like, what is our income? What's the money coming in? And then from there, what are our fixed expenses? What are things that are happening recurring? So mortgage, utilities, bills, groceries, subscriptions.
Car.
Once we have our income and then we take away our fixed expenses, what's left of that, we pay our savings and investments. And I learned that through Factora Wealth. My friend Allegra runs this awesome women's company called Factora. So after we pay ourselves, pay our savings and our investments, whatever is left, that's our fun money. That's our eating out money. That's our buying jeans money, that's what that is.
We don't really talked about it like this, but some of our purchases are for us to like cut future spending. Like we bought our own paddle boards so we didn't have to rent. That's something we loved doing, and we didn't want to like cut that out of our life.
When we invest in something, it's kind of like Are we investing in this new bike or paddleboard because we want to stay active? Oh, is staying active a value that we have? Cool, well that makes sense. The next question we ask in financial flossing is, are there any upcoming big purchases, such as purchases over $500 that we should be aware of?
Heck, even over like $250, you know.
Yeah, heck. I think this is a great question that we ask, and I think that if you are trying to do this, that is definitely a question I would bring up, because then it manages the expectation. So do we have any upcoming big purchases to be aware of?
If I see a PS5, I'm gonna get it.
How much are those?
It's like $399 or $499.
Okay, so Andrew's buying a PS5.
If I can
If he
find
can
one.
get his hands on one. You all know, hit him up.
Fake.
Facebook Marketplace, I don't know.
No, it's like $1,000 probably on Facebook Marketplace.
What is the max you're spending on this PS5?
You buy it in store and you get it for the normal price, but everyone's buying them and reselling them.
So you will only buy it in store, you won't buy a resale.
Yeah.
That sounds good
the
to me.
MSRP.
The MSRP, the retail price. Okay, so something I did want to bring up with you is that I want to start making it a priority to take better care of myself. So once a month I want to get a facial, and I might want to do some sort of like membership either at Alive and Well or like a sauna or something. I want to do more infrared sauna, and so I think the cost of that might be $100 to $150 a month. So I'm gonna write that down, how to budget in facial, self-care, workouts.
I could see us dropping down the shopping budget a little bit, tighten that up, and you know, it's kind of like treating yourself in a different way.
Yeah, I will say I have spent more on Poshmark recently than I normally would have. I think it's because I went on TikTok and I started watching all these Gen Zers and their outfits, and I felt like I hated my closet, and I'm like, I need some cute Y2K clothes. Somebody asked a question on how do we set boundaries with these meetings, so I do want to talk about that a little bit, because sometimes these meetings can lead to arguments and it can get really heated. We're not immune to that, like that's just kind of normal, it comes up, but I think what we try to always remember is that we have the ultimate goal of the same thing, which is to be able to smoothly transition from this current house to our next house.
Yeah, one thing I'll add to that is, you know, we have already set like a goal for this next house and the down payment, how much we have saved. So, you know, if there are times where, you know, Jules, you just ask, can we do $100, $150 for a certain type of new budget? You know, if we go back and we're like, we can't do that because we won't be able to save enough, then we both have like kind of the same goal in mind, and we can have a conversation around that. We can like agree or move something else around. But
yeah,
if you don't have that high level goal that you're both or individually that you're set on, it can be really hard or too easy to like stray away from budgets or like overspend and like not think too much about it.
Figure out what your North Star is. What is it that you're saving for? Or maybe it is you're trying to pay off your student loans. When it comes to boundaries, we just remind ourselves that we have the same goal because we talked about it and we figured out what that goal is, and we're both working towards it. We just might have different ideas and ways of going about reaching those goals.
Why do we have the budget we have now? It's for the house we want to get next year.
Right now, like from a short-term perspective, our North Star goal is to just be able to smoothly transition into our new house and be able to furnish it and not feel any financial stress or burden. Right now it's September and our house won't be ready until like May or June. So we have a good amount of time. And so we're really just making sure we're staying on track. And as long as we follow the timeline that we have set, we will be good to go. And so that's why we have these meetings. We just check in with each other, make sure we're on track with everything. And if we're not, it's a discussion. It's not something that we like freak out and sound the alarms for. It's like, okay, we check in every month. So whatever we're doing, we can reevaluate and readjust.
I'm curious if there are more questions, because there's a lot in this video and there definitely could be another video. So if people have more questions, would love to hear what those are.
And do you want to see Andrew in more of my videos in the future? Because it's so much more fun talking to you versus talking to myself all the time. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in for this video. Thank you, Andrew, for being in this video and getting financially naked. Wow! Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you all next time. Bye for now.